everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into a comprehensive digital guide straight from our source material, all about transforming a traditional retail operation into an absolute digital powerhouse. We're going to take the sometimes intimidating technical concepts of e-commerce and break them down into a really clear, structured blueprint. So if you've ever wondered how to build a digital storefront right from the ground up, let's jump right in.
First up, we have a really provocative question directly from our source material. Why should you do e-commerce? Well, the core problem is that if you're running a traditional brick-and-mortar store, you're inherently limited. Think about it. You're limited by your physical location, by the foot traffic on your specific street, and, of course, by your operating hours. Literally, the second your doors lock at 8 p.m., your revenue stream just completely stops until the next morning. E-commerce is basically the master key to unlocking all of those physical limitations, completely shattering the boundaries of what your business can actually achieve. Our source text really hammers home what I like to call the rule of three when it comes to the advantages of digital trade. Number one, low cost. You aren't paying for expensive downtown retail space or heating or elaborate window displays. Number two, a massive audience. Your customer base is no longer just the people living in your specific zip code. It's literally anyone out there with an internet connection. And number three, which is honestly the holy grail for any business owner, the ability to sell 24/7. You are actively making sales and bringing in revenue while you are fast asleep. To make this super easy to digest, we've distilled a lot of dense technical documentation into a simple 5-pillar blueprint. We'll be walking through an introduction to e-commerce, building a strong technical infrastructure, payment and security systems, digital marketing strategies, and finally, customer relations and satisfaction. All right, let's start building.
Starting off with pillar number 1, Introduction to e-commerce.
So what exactly is it? The source gives a very clear, concise definition. E-commerce is simply a digital trade model that enables the sale of products and services over the internet. But to really wrap our heads around this, let's use an analogy. Don't think of e-commerce as this huge, intimidating tech concept. It's simply the modern, digital equivalent of acquiring premium retail space. The only real difference is that instead of leasing a physical storefront on a busy corner, you're leasing space on a server. Your goals are exactly the same. Attract people, show them great products, and give them a smooth checkout experience. Moving right along to pillar number 2, strong technical infrastructure. This is the conceptual phase where we actually pour the digital foundation for the store. It's a precise 3-step process. Step 1 is brand and domain selection. Think of your domain name as your plot of land on the internet. It's the address people type in to actually find you. Step 2 is hosting and technical infrastructure. If the domain is the land, the hosting is the physical building you're constructing on top of it. It dictates how many people can actually be in your store at the same time without the digital walls caving in. And finally, step 3 is the e-commerce software. These are your physical shelves, the lighting, the display cases that hold your products and make them look irresistible. Without all 3 of these working perfectly in sync, the whole structure just collapses. Next up, pillar number 3, payment and security systems. In the physical world, this step is exactly like installing the cash registers, putting up the security cameras, and making sure you have some really solid deadbolts on the doors. When you think about the back end of your store, it's fascinating how security and customer relationship tools are totally intrinsically linked. You've got SSL certificates handling your data encryption right alongside things like a virtual POS or Sonal POS, which lets you actually take online payments securely. And right there with them, you have CRM and live support tools. It really proves that taking someone's money securely and supporting them as a customer aren't 2 separate jobs. They're essentially part of the exact same digital tool set. Let's actually zoom in on that SSL certificate for a second. The text defines it as critical digital infrastructure, providing data encryption and security. But why this actually matters, the big so what here, is a very simple equation. Trust equals sales. When a customer sees that little padlock icon next to your web address, it instantly tells them their data is encrypted and safe. If you don't have that SSL certificate, web browsers will literally throw up a massive warning screen telling customers your site is dangerous. So SSL directly impacts user trust, and in the e-commerce world, user trust is what directly drives your conversion rates. Building on that whole narrative of trust, our source really highlights the critical nature of things like KVKK, which are data protection laws, and strict privacy policies. Now, you might look at compliance as just some boring legal hurdle you have to jump over, but the text frames it as a massive business asset. Adhering to these regulations isn't just about avoiding a fine. It's a fundamental tool to make your customers feel incredibly safe when they are handing over their credit card numbers. When people know their data is protected by strict policies, their hesitation drops and your sales go up.
All right, on to pillar number 4, digital marketing strategies. Because let's be real for a second, you could have the absolute most beautiful digital storefront in the world, but if nobody knows it exists, you're not going to make a single sale. Marketing is the equivalent of putting up massive, glowing digital billboards all across the internet to make sure people actually walk through your newly opened digital doors. The marketing mix outlined here relies on several interconnected channels. You use SEO to make sure people find you organically when they're searching for what you sell. You use social media ads to target specific demographics right where they already hang out online. You leverage Google ads to capture people who have really high purchasing intent. And you use email marketing to re-engage folks who have already shown an interest. These interconnected strategies act like this massive funnel, constantly pouring highly targeted traffic straight onto your secure server. Which brings us to our 5th and final pillar, customer relations and satisfaction.
So you've done all this hard work getting them into the store. Now you actually need to serve them. This acts as the digital equivalent of having friendly, helpful floor staff. Let's contrast two very different shopping experiences detailed by our source. On one hand, a poor user experience. You've got slow pages, a complicated, clunky checkout. It is incredibly frustrating. And in the digital world, a frustrated customer is quite literally just one click away from buying from your competitor. On the other hand, an optimized UX, lightning-fast loading pages, total mobile compatibility, and a checkout process that is as easy as breathing. The text is super clear on this point. Mobile compatibility and fast loading speeds are absolute non-negotiables if you actually want high conversions.
And what happens after they finally click buy? The source text summarizes these final back-end logistical steps that are totally crucial for long-term satisfaction. You implement CRM systems so you can actually remember who they are. You offer live support to answer their questions in real time. You create a totally frictionless returns and exchanges policy, and you make absolutely sure your shipping and logistics are flawless. Keep in mind, these aren't just operational tasks to check off a list. These are the specific tools you use to ensure a one-time buyer is absolutely delighted, turning them into a loyal, repeat customer. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. We've laid out the entire blueprint for you today, from the very initial concept through pouring the technical foundation, setting up the security locks, raising those marketing billboards, all the way to ensuring customer satisfaction. The path is crystal clear. So I want to leave you with one final inspiring question to think about. Are you ready to take everything you've just learned and build your very own digital store? The tools are out there, the audience is absolutely waiting, and the doors are ready to be opened. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I seriously can't wait to see what you build.